Hello, my beauties. Here we are again. We need to get into part 2 of the Clerk Key saga. Now, this is definitely going to be a little longer video, and I apologize for that, but I couldn't break it up. It is too important, the way Clerk Key has been treated. It is really not okay, and people need to see the truth for what it is. So let us just jump right into it. No fake news here, I promise.
Clerk's office. Currently, we receive approximately 40 FOIA requests per week. That's just how many are coming into our office lately. We don't know why, but there's been a rash of FOIA requests coming into my office. Today, we have a total of 195 open FOIA requests. The longest has been open for 235 days. So let me explain to you, when we get a FOIA request, if it's something that requires another department to comply, we send it to them and we wait for them to respond to us. We log these things into our FOIA GovQA system just so we can track everything that's coming in and we're not missing anything. So I just wanted to give a report on that because I know a lot of people are asking about FOIAs and why they're not getting them answers, but just wanted to let you know where we're at. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right.
So let us jump back to April of 2022, allowing Trustee House to refresh our minds.
Information was not presented for the board to even make that decision. More than that, the process for checks, because this is all set up on checks and balances. And writing the checks for $125,000 worth of checks, as well as $2 million worth of checks, there should be 2 signatures on every check. The authorized signers on our bank account are the mayor and the clerk. For the month of February and March, the clerk's stamp was used without her authorization to sign $2 million worth of bills that were not properly presented to the board. In the month of April, again, the warrant list or the information was not presented to the board. That's $1.8 million worth of spending. Now, I would take from what I've seen that at least using the clerk's stamp without her authority was recognized or changed, because this time the checks were signed only with the mayor's signature on it, without the 2 signatures required for the necessary checks and balances. In total, that's $4 million in the last 3 months spent without the appropriate checks and balances. So that's one, what I would say, glaring, well, the spending of the money and the use of somebody's signature without their authorization, right? There are 2 main issues that I had a big concern with that were not spoken about, or says, why are things happening the way they are? I think many people have seen the meeting, so they've seen a lot of the back and forths, and I just want to go over high level because I want to make sure we're talking about big ticket issues, and to me that's significant.
I am absolutely positive that there is proof of this stamp being used. None of the trustees would make such allegations they couldn't back up.
All right, moving on. Discussion on Village of Dalton overdue FOIA items. Trustee House.
Actually, I believe this will be tied in with discussion that will happen on the next agenda item, so I'll remove this item.
Okay, so next is appointment of new FOIA officer. That's myself and Attorney Vazali. Basically, I'm going to appoint, thank you. I'm going to appoint a FOIA officer because right now there's a ton of FOIAs coming into the Village of Dalton, and we need everybody to keep up with the FOIA process. Most employees are overwhelmed because it has to go to the FOIA officer and then from the FOIA officer to the department heads. And right now we are behind, and by being behind meaning we ask for an extension. So what you can do. So I just want people to know what's going on. And currently right now that FOIA officer will be Medina Neely, will be the FOIA officer.
So
Mayor, may I speak?
he said, no, you're going to say the clerk refused to give you the information to turn in. I'm not going to say that. I'm not finna go lie on this lady. She looked like my mama. I'm not about to say that.
Mayor,
And
may I
that's
speak?
it, that's all.
Great.
Good evening, residents. As the village clerk, I am the FOIA officer. I was designated by the statutes of the state of Illinois. Let me explain to you guys how the FOIA process works in this village. When any of you submit a FOIA request, it comes to my office. Because I do not maintain the records of all the departments within this village, I send those requests to whatever department that FOIA request is for. They have 5 days, but actually less than that, to respond to me so that I can respond to the requester. Currently, that's not happening. When I send FOIA requests to departments, they are not returning them. They're telling me that they're being told not to reply to them. I'm doing my job, but I'm not receiving the information that I am requesting. As the FOIA officer, the mayor cannot appoint someone else to take my job. I am the village FOIA officer. I am certified by the Attorney General. Not only am I certified, my deputy is certified to conduct the FOIA process. We cannot do our job if the departments aren't providing us with the items that we request. Many of you know, since I've been in office, I created an electronic device so that we can capture and track all the FOIAs that come into the village, so that we will know when they come in, who they were sent to, and that we get them back in a timely manner. I have a report here tonight through the electronic system that I brought into the village that shows 63 past due FOIA requests. 63 past due. And it is not because I refuse to respond to them. It is because I'm not being provided the answers. Do you appoint someone else because you're not receiving the information? Why would you appoint someone else? Are people only responding to certain people? As the elected village clerk, I am responsible for FOIAs. Currently, lawsuits are being thrown around, I'm being complained. Complaints are going to the Attorney General's office. They're not going on the mayor. They're not going on anyone else. They're being complaints filed against me. And I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job in accordance with the FOIA guidelines. And when I ask staff, why aren't you returning FOIAs? They're telling me I'm being told not to. I even have documentation to prove that they're being told not to respond. So when you talk about taking my duties, no one's talked about taking your duties. But when you talk about taking my duties, that's a problem when I'm doing my job. I'm responsible for mail. I don't get any mail because the mail is not being routed to my office as it should. So you guys need to know the truth. You elected me to come in here and do a job. I'm committed to doing this job, but the village has to work with me. You have to work with me, you have to work with my deputy. I would never intentionally withhold information from anyone who requested within this village, within any community, the residents, as well as the people who come in here and request information. I would never intentionally withhold information because I took an oath to be transparent, and that's what I am.
All right. So, basically, I'd just like you guys to see. I have 2 certifications here from the Attorney General. One for Allison Key and one for my deputy, Eris Montgomery. We are certified. You just can't put anybody in a position to be a FOIA officer and they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so that's her side. Now here's my side. It's the truth. The clerk isn't doing her job. Wow. The clerk barely comes to work. You can come in Village Hall, you won't see her. When I say, Mary Kay, I miss you, I miss you. She do not work the hours she's supposed to, and she places blame when the heat goes on her. I would never tell anybody not to give information as it's related to the Village of Dalton. I have no reason to. I don't have to tell them not to give or answer a FOIA request. When you guys FOIA anything and everything, guess what? The department head is supposed to give it to you. And I told everybody up here, if you don't get anything from a department head or something go wrong, let me know so I'll know and I can discipline the individual that's not giving you what you're saying. But when you just sit up here and say that they did not, my staff know better. They know to give everything as it relates to a FOIA out right away. Because at the end of the day, they have to uphold the law.
May I respond?
Okay, one second. The other issue I have is, as mayor, I take a lot of heat for every and anything that goes on in the Village of Dalton or anything that goes on with the board. I'm not taking any heat for the clerk as relates to any FOIA, because we do have emails as it relates to things that we turn in to the clerk to make sure she gets it out. But if she comes to work, it would get out in the mail to you like it should. And it has not been because the clerk has been absent. So I want the facts on the record, this is all for the record, clerk, that we do our part as it relates to my department heads. So I just want that to be known. And then, yeah, can I let me get a floor here?
Okay, sure.
Okay, attorney?
Sure, and then just for the edification of the board, I'm reading from section 3.5 of the Freedom of Information Act, which reads, each public body shall designate one or more officials or employees as its Freedom of Information officer or officers. So again, the public body shall designate one or more officials or employees to act as its Freedom of Information officer or officers. So there can be multiple FOIA officers. The clerk does have her certification, and I believe that the deputy clerk also has a certification. Is that correct? Now again, to the issue of appointments, I'm reading from section 5-3.1, 30-5A. The mayor or the president, as the case may be, by and with the advice and consent of the City Council or the Board of Trustees, subsection 11, may appoint, subsection 11, other officers necessary to carry into effect the powers conferred upon municipalities. So the proposition here tonight was to appoint someone in addition to serve as the Freedom of Information officer. And that, again, reading from the statute, each public body shall designate one or more of officials or employees to act as its Freedom of Information officer or officers.
Are you done, attorney?
Yeah, man.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I just thank you.
Let me just clear something up here. Unfortunately, the mayor wants me to be an employee. She wants me to report to her. I am not a full-time employee here. That's why I have a deputy clerk who's full-time employee. She's here every day. I'm here more than what she's saying. I also work from my home because I've set up devices where I can work from home. In regards to me just simply not answering floors, I can't believe that she's sitting here saying here, she don't know what goes on in my office. She's never come to my office to inquire about anything. So when I realized that the employees were not replying to FOIAs, I went to the village administrator. I said, look, we're subject to tons of lawsuits because I'm not receiving the information that I should receive to respond to these FOIAs. And I'd like to see whatever documentation she has that shows that I don't do my job. The VA village administrator told me, you know what he told me? Because I said, we're going to be subject to lawsuits. He said, let them sue us. Wow. Do we want to spend our tax-paying dollars like this? No. Do we want people to sue us just because no one wants to reply to FOIAs? Did I want to sue her? No. I just simply want to do my job. Let the staff do their job. Staff is not lying. I have documentation. And I will be willing to show it in the law of court that people have confirmed to me that they're being told not to respond to my FOIAs. I don't have to sit here and lie. I will not lie. I am telling you how it is. I am a clerk who works round the clock. It doesn't have to be in this building because I've set up mechanism to work from my home, wherever I choose to work. I keep the business done. I've had people send me emails on Saturday. I've had people send me things on Sundays, and I've responded. So to sit here and say I'm not doing my job, I am insulted. I am totally insulted because I go beyond my job. Since I've taken that office, I've put mechanisms to place to make this place run more effectively. That's why we have an electronic FOIA system to track every FOIA that come into this office, to track how long it takes those FOIAs to be completed. I made sure all the staff was trained on this system so they would not have any problems recognizing and knowing how to reply. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Not only did I make sure they were trained, but I also gave them a link so if they forgot something, they can always go back and refresh their memory on what they need to do. So yeah, staff is afraid here, but it's not because we're threatening them, that's because they're being threatened by someone else. I am friendly with every single village employee here. I speak to them every day, I talk to them. They're not afraid of me because I'm one of the most pleasant people that walk through these doors. So to say that I'm not doing my job, I am just totally insulted. I have documentation to prove. Show me where I have not intentionally not responded to a FOIA. Okay. Show that to me. Show it to me. No, you now you want me to wrap up because I'm telling the truth.
No, you had the floor for like 10 minutes.
Well, however long it takes.
Anything else?
However long it takes. So I don't want you, the residents of Dalton, who voted me into this position, to think that I didn't come here to do a job. I've lived here for over 30 years and I'm very passionate about this village. So why would I take a position just to walk? In fact, the mayor begged me to get on her ticket. So why would I intentionally not do my job once I'm in office? I go beyond the call of duty. I work every day. I attend training to make sure that everything in the clerk's office is being done correctly. In fact, I'm scheduled for training this week. So to be told or to be stated that I'm not doing my job, I am just totally insulted.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda.
You're not voting on it?
Okay.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Was there a motion in a second? I apologize.
6E.
Yes.
No, there was not a motion or a second.
Were we done with comments?
Yeah, let's do the motion tonight. Is there a motion to approve Medina Neely as the new FOIA officer? Is there a motion? Okay. All right, moving on. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I want to make sure I'm still able for discussion. Do I have to do a
Yeah,
motion?
we'll do discussion, then we'll move on. If no one wants to put a motion on the floor, it's not going to discuss. Nobody want to put a motion on the floor?
My motion on the FOIA officer for discussion purposes. I'm a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, so Mayor, I just think that in regards to this whole appoint someone new, I just think it's unfair. It goes back to what I was stating in the very beginning. We were all elected to do a job. And I just feel as if you avoid accountability by not providing us with the information that we're entitled to as elected officials. And then instead of you providing the information that we're entitled to, you prefer to just not give us the information and then say, oh, let's just have someone else do it. It's just completely unfair. I mean, I look at how the clerk and deputy clerk have implemented new electronic systems, making it easier for the residents. I like the system. I think that anything that we can do to make it easier for the residents, that's the goal. So I just feel as if it's unfair again, how instead of you just working with your team and trying to figure out how you can work with the clerk, why assign someone else to do the job that she was elected to do? I just think these are the things that you do to circumvent the trustees and the clerk. These are the things you do to circumvent authority. If that's their job, let them do it. Provide them with the information that she needs so that she can reply to the FOIAs and everything would be done. We wouldn't need to appoint someone new, but that's how I feel about it, Mayor.
Okay, so, she's not doing her job. So to help her with her job, I'm appointing someone. And I don't know if anybody understands, I told the attorney to bring the rules for what trustees do, what mayors do. I can appoint multiple people as the FOIA office. Prime example, and I know trustee Stevens knows this, over in Calumet City, he appointed someone else. It is not the clerk. So let's be clear. You can appoint other people for that position. So I like people to know the facts. So while everybody up here talking about whatever, the facts is I can appoint someone to that seat.
Without approval.
May I add something, please? I also read that section, and not only can the mayor appoint, the clerk can appoint as well. So it is not just the mayor, and I did appoint. So that is just not the sole responsibility of the mayor.
I did not say that. You appointed someone.
And I did.
Someone as well.
So then you have to give justification for reappointing. Your justification is incorrect.
Okay, clerk. We're not going back and forth.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
Just for the record, please.
It is for the record.
Anything else? All right, move. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, just a couple of quick points. One is I know in terms of full-time, we have our deputy clerk who is here full-time, who I believe has been doing a phenomenal job. I believe Clerk Key has been doing an outstanding job. And it goes back, I think we've been doing a lot of the back and forth. And we really need, that's why I keep saying, if it's not on paper, it doesn't exist. Clerk has shared with the board some of her attempts to complete the FOIA process. I would love if the administration would share some of their efforts to present to the clerk's office so that we can make an informed decision. As of today, I've not received any documentation. Again, we're in here, we're having basement. It felt like we're having basement talk right now, really. We're just in one big basement, we're talking about what's good, but when you ask for paperwork, it's just not there. So at this time, I'm not in favor of appointing an additional FOIA officer.
All right. You call me roll.
What are we calling the roll for?
To appoint Medina Neal.
Sure. Trustee Brown?
No.
Trustee House?
No.
Trustee Norwood?
No.
Trustee Steve?
No.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Motion passed. Failed.
Imagine this person is just so close to the toilet paper, but just out of reach. The same goes for Tiffany and this entire new FOIA officer situation. She tried hard to impose her authority, but it was just out of her reach. Thank God.
All right, next on the agenda is village clerk's report. Good. I have to address an issue here tonight. There's been quite a malicious lie that has been told about the clerk's office, and I'm here tonight to set the record straight. Each of us who sit up here, with the exception of this attorney, are elected officials. As your elected village clerk, who received the highest percentage of votes during the election at 100%, I do not report to any of these elected officials sitting here today. Therefore, it is not anyone's responsibility to track my time. I am a part-time clerk, and my hours are my hours. It is no one else's responsibility to report my time. Although my position is part-time, I like to highlight some of the accomplishments the clerk's office has done since I became the clerk. Based on the volume of work that's in the clerk's office, unfortunately, Mary Kay never had enough help to get her work done. So therefore, we have a backlog in there because it was just a great deal of work for a part-time clerk to complete. And because of that, I requested that we hire a full-time deputy clerk in the clerk's office. And Eris, if you can stand up so that everyone can see who you are. If you have not met her, this is Eris Montgomery. She's the deputy clerk in the clerk's office. If you need any information from the clerk's office, she is present every day from 9 to 5 p.m. And her number is area code 708-201-3291. So if there are any questions or concerns you have at the clerk's office, it's always open. We get quite a few calls in there, not necessarily our calls, but we do receive quite a few calls in my office. In an effort as the clerk, who is the keeper of the records, to more efficiently, and in an effort to codify our ordinances and resolutions, which haven't been done in probably over 20 years, we now have a cloud-based program which would help eliminate tons of boxes of files that are not only stored here, but at the old village hall. And it's my responsibility to consolidate those files. And if we have to get rid of some of them, we need to do that. But we need to learn how to work a little more effectively. One of the reasons why I went out and searched for this cloud-based program is because we can start scanning records into the clouds so we don't have to be overwhelmed with tons of boxes, because I don't know if you guys are aware of the space in this building, but it is not enough space to store a lot of files. Therefore, this is a very good program for scanning information, and you can access these files anywhere once they're stored in the cloud. You don't have to be in this building to be able to pull up a file. This will save the village thousands of dollars in codifying our records, because currently the deputy clerk and I are scanning as many ordinances and resolutions as we can in the file. So when it comes time to codify our records, that should run a little more smoother than if we had not done that. While incorporating this data into our system, I also included the capabilities of any other department within this village to store their records in there if they choose to do so. I didn't just look out for the clerk's office. I wanted to make sure that any other department that was interested, they can also use this cloud-based program. The clerk's office also incorporated a digital database called GovQA to track and store all FOIA requests. This program tracks every FOIA request received in the clerk's office. Since the clerk's office do not maintain all the records, when a request come in regarding HR, finance, housing, and so forth, we are able to create a reference number for that request, and then we forward that request to the department who is responsible for completing the information. This system tracks that FOIA until it is completed. Each department head and their designated staff has been trained on how to utilize this program, as well as they received a web-based tutorial. In case they forget some of the steps, they can always refer back to that web base to familiarize themselves with whatever they may have forgotten, a step or so forth. And the deputy clerk and I just want to let you guys know, the deputy clerk and I are both certified FOIA officers. So we understand the FOIA law completely. And another great component of this is we set up a separate portal for the police department, and they've been working very well with that portal. They've done a great job. Finally, the deputy clerk and I are active members of the Municipal Clerks Association of Illinois. We have currently attended all the quarterly seminars. We've also attended regional clerk sessions for Cook County, which is District 1. Cook County is considered District 1, so it's all of the clerks that are under the Cook County location. These seminars and district meetings have been affording us the opportunity to network with other clerks in the state of Illinois, and also gain knowledge of the new duties and the many responsibilities of the clerk's office. And it's been amazing, because when I took this seat, I had absolutely no training, but it did not frighten me, because I know that I would get out there and try to find out what was necessary for us to run this village more effectively. And I got one more last thing, guys, and I seem to have lost that page. Okay. So, unfortunately, right now, the clerk's office doesn't receive a great deal of the information that they should, which is one of the functions. We're responsible, again, for the records of the village. And when we don't receive them, we can't record them. We can't store them in the clouds or anything. So anytime things are taken out of the clerk's office, it should be done by way of an amended ordinance. And that ordinance has to be approved by the Board of Commissioners. I'm sorry, I'm calling them commissioners, but they're Board of Trustees. Unfortunately, that's not happening. We're not following proper procedures. So therefore, you know, there are things that I'm supposed to be responsible for that unfortunately they're not coming in my office. But because I'm a professional and a mature adult, I continue to move forward with improving the quality of work and functionality, not only in the clerk's office, but the entire village of Dalton. So at this time, I'd like to request the board's approval of the minutes. We have regular board meeting minutes, July the 5th, 2022. Regular board meeting, August the 1st, 2022. Special board meeting, August the 10th, 2022. And I also would like to add 2 board meetings that have not showed up on this agenda, but I am requesting your approval tonight on these minutes.
All right,
And that is-
Clerk, 1 second. I said 1 second. So we're gonna do it with the first 3, then you can do the next 2 after the first 3. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes for July 5th of 2022 for the regular board meeting, August 1st of 2022 for the regular board meeting, and then August 10th of 2022 for the special board meeting? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I would like the clerk to complete her request on the board minutes. I don't see the purpose of separating just to further debate.
Well, for the record, this is what's on the agenda, so you have to follow the agenda. She can amend it, and she can have the other 2 separately. So I just stated how I would like to do it, so she can vote on these 3 because these are legal meetings. The 2 that you would like to vote on is illegal board meetings. So I'm asking for the board to vote on the legal board meetings, and then you guys can vote on the illegal board meetings as you choose. So can I have a motion for the 3 that I just read into record? Is there a motion?
I wanted to interject quickly and explain something. The only reason Tiffany calls the meetings illegal is because she thinks the mayor needs to preside over each meeting. Yet in all of my research, I only saw rules about a quorum, proper public notification, and for how long to be posted.
Is there a motion?
I would again ask for an actual legal opinion on these meetings as opposed to us going back and forth over what is and is not legal.
I don't, trustee, it's not a debate. You guys can vote on the 2 meetings that you would like to. After we vote on the things that's legal, then you can make your motion for the 2 that you would like, and we will move forward. So can you make a motion so we can move on with the minutes? So you would like to approve the 3 meetings that's on this agenda currently, correct?
I'm still going to await a true legal opinion.
Trustee, everything's not a fight up here. You're getting your way. Just because I'm not doing it the way you would like, don't make it your way. So you're voting on 3 items that's on the agenda, it's printed on the agenda. Can we have a motion to approve the 3 board meetings that are illegal? And then you can vote on the next 2 illegal meetings as you choose. So can we have a motion to approve the 3 minutes? Do you guys not want to approve the minutes? All right, so we're gonna move on.
I make a motion to approve the 3 meetings that are here on this agenda, plus the 2 meetings that the clerk added to this. I make that motion.
Second.
Okay, I just stated that we're not going to make a motion for the illegal meetings. Y'all can vote on them separate. You don't have to include them in the 2 legal meetings. It's 3 legal meetings that's on this agenda. You have to vote on what's on the agenda. Then you guys can make a motion for the 2 meetings that you would like to add. Attorney?
For purposes of the Open Meetings Act, July 5th, August 1, and August 10 are the only minutes that are listed on the agenda. It would be my advice to vote separately in the event there's a challenge. The 2 minutes that are not listed on the agenda, as the public has not been given.
Attorney, may I make note that I have submitted these minutes for the past 2 board meetings, and they have not been included on the agenda. So I have submitted them for the last 2 months, and they're not showing up on the agenda.
I'm not saying you can't vote. It's my advice that they be voted separately in the event there's a challenge. There's 3 items listed on the agenda.
Thank you.
There are 2 items that are not listed on the agenda. If there's a challenge, they could only challenge the 2 items that are not listed if it's a challenge under the Open Meetings Act.
Thank you. Is he corporate counsel? Y'all just got the opinion of the attorney here, so.
Is McGrath?
Can you guys? Is he corporate?
We hear from our attorney.
Hold on 1 minute, trustee. This is the attorney. This is our corporate counsel trustee that is representing the board tonight. So can you guys vote for the three meetings and then the next two? You guys still are doing what you would like, but you're doing 3, then 2. So
Is Mr. McGrath?
can we move forward?
Yeah, I want me to go. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so y'all don't want to vote on it. Next, village administrator's report. Village administrator, you have the floor.
This is just a perfect example and showing of what Tiffany did to attack people. At least the people who were not complying with her demands and vision. The vision we keep on hearing about, but only see how Tiffany has destroyed everything. Her vision must have been to dictate and demolish, because I can't see it any other way. It has been a circus that Tiffany single-handedly created, especially when we consider the entire picture. Rihanna, New Jack City, you know?
We call the roll so we can get this moving.
Sure. Just as a point of reference, in the future, when there are ordinance and resolutions on the agenda, I would like to receive an electronic copy so that I can officially number them. Right now, if we were to go back and look at these agendas with no numbers applied to these resolutions and ordinance, there's no way to really trace them. So if the numbers are on there prior to the agendas being placed, then we can better reference back to whatever ordinance number or resolution we're speaking of in these meetings. So Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right.
For anyone who may still have doubts or questions, I wanted to leave that clip in because it says a lot. Clerk Key just wanted to do her job and do it right. Tiffany never wanted to follow the rules, though.
Can I comment on a couple of things, Mayor, real quickly? The first thing, the deputy clerk brought in severely underpaid as a full-time position. I put it on the agenda for her raise to be adjusted. The board approved it, but as of today, she has not received any compensation. So the amount that you said she's getting, she's not getting that. Number 2, we have an ordinance and resolution in place that we're governed by as a village, that there must be 2 signatures on any check that is dispersed by this village. One of those signatures is the clerk, so I don't need anyone's approval to sign a check. I just don't sign checks that are not being properly vetted through the board. So my signature should always be on any check. So I don't need approval to get that done because I'm already an approved signature.
All right, so just to clear it up so y'all understand what she just stated, she said that she has to be on the check. That's not true. If y'all can just be quiet for 1 minute so I can get it out to tell y'all what the facts are. So basically, you do not have to have the clerk on the check. She is a notary. That's it, a notary. She don't have to be on the check. That's why the bank keep cashing the checks. It's like, ask yourself the question, if I'm the only one on the check and it's so illegal or not right, why would the bank cash the check? They cashed the check, they didn't have no signature on it at all. Okay, you finished. And that's not true. That's not true. But I'm just telling y'all the facts so you can understand what it is. Hold on, trustee, let me finish. I'm just telling you the facts so you guys understand what it is and how things are going. If people refuse to sign and you guys came in and did work for the village of Dalton, my job is to make sure you still get paid. Because at the end of the day, you gave up your time, your life. You have a family. You have people that you take care of. You guys should get paid at the end of those 2 weeks. Because in 2 weeks, if you work at Walmart, Target, or anywhere, you're looking for those managers if they don't got your check for 2 weeks. It's the same thing with vendors. They are entrepreneurs. They basically come in, they do the work at their expense, and then they come in and they give us an invoice to tell us what we owe them. Our job is to make sure we give them their money because they did the work, not play politics because people don't like somebody or they don't want to pay them. They got a family to feed. We don't have time for that. All right, go ahead.
I want to make a statement.
Go ahead.
The question about the budget, the budgets are projections. They projected to the budget to $26 million. That's $2 million more than it was last year. All we did was just bring it down. We didn't cut nobody. It just was excessive raises. It was raises that didn't, gone from like from $60,000 to $90,000. So all we're saying is that we didn't cut nothing. We just went back to, we were much more, I can say, humble in this budget versus being aggressive for $26 million. And if we come up short, we're being conservative. That's how this budget's been ran for the past few years. That's been conservative. All we did is be conservative so we won't run out of money. When you got a mayor that will spend $10,000 on a credit card to go to Vegas, this is the stuff that we're seeing. This is reality. So yes, $10,000 to Vegas. And I remember a few years ago, they made a big stink out of the last administration spending $300 on a steak dinner. They spent $10,000 to go to Vegas on a village credit card. So this is the type of spending. If we don't be conservative with nothing, then we'll blow through this cash. We'll blow through, which is going on right now. So there has to be some checks and balances. It has to be some give and take. That's politics. I say I want this, I say I want this. But the mayor runs it as I want everything. And if you don't vote for it, something's wrong with you and you don't want to help the people. That's not reality. We want to work with this mayor. We commended her for making history. She made the first Black woman mayor, the youngest mayor. She made a lot of history, but she also got history with the Rose recall mayor. So that's where we at. Thank you.
Okay, but every dog has their day. Your seat is up. Hold on, your seat is up, so just be prepared. Yes, 1 second, but I didn't spend no $10,000. I got the credit card statement here, so make the right statements. Stop lying to people about that I spent $10,000. I did not. And anywhere I go, guess what? I bring a bag back. When I went to Washington, D.C., I bought back $1.5 million for infrastructure. So you can talk about me going anywhere, but when I go somewhere, I bring businesses back. I got someone that's going to go on 142nd. So everybody's talking this mess, and we can argue and fight all day, but I'm actually doing the work. All they doing is running their mouths. I'm doing the work. Y'all see me doing the work. So stop saying things that's untrue. Go ahead, trustee. Go ahead, trustee.
Right here, $10,000.
It does not say $3,000. $3,000. That's what it says. Go down. Go down. Let me help you read. Clear your glasses. It says $3,000. It says $3,000.
Hey, zoom on this. It's $10,000.
Go ahead, trustee.
I got one thing to say. If we're starting to investigate where these funds are going, start to investigate deep. Let's find out where they went 8-10 years ago.
Yep, come on.
Let's start recouping that money back. Let's start recouping that money back. Well, if we're gonna try to find out where the money, we need to go back and recoup the money and find out where it went to and bring that money back to the taxpayers.
There are so many different things, important things, that I want to show you all ... if only I could spread myself multiple directions. But for now, let us get back to Clerk Key. God knows the amount of mess ... this woman has had to put up with. For a part-time job, but she did because she cares about the people.
Every lawsuit that I've won in the village of Dalton due to the Board of Trustees trying to sue me for every little thing, but it's just wasted energy, wasted time, and wasted money. One thing I do want to point out is that the clerk also tried to sue me for a FOIA, and I'm glad that the judge did throw it out. Said that I did nothing wrong, that included me in the FOIA lawsuit, saying that I wasn't giving information out. Guess what? I run the day-to-day operation. I don't work here. I don't give information to NT1. So when they found out that everyone was doing their jobs, they told the clerk that she needs to do her job and make sure she give the FOIA out, and that her deputy need to come to work, and then they will be in compliance as it relates to moving forward. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody so people can stop doing the blame game, because it's easy to point the finger, but when you point the finger, it's 3 more pointing back at you. If people just stick to their job titles, which is you're the clerk, I'm the mayor, so I run the day-to-day, and we would get along just fine. I am not the FOIA officer, the clerk is. So whenever you guys FOIA anything, she is the one that should give it to you as it relates to information from the village of Dalton. I got too much on my plate to worry about FOIAs going out. That's why you have a clerk that is over the FOIA department. So I just wanted to mention all these wonderful things. Tina, you ready? Got one more video and we're done. Okay, so this is just a couple things we're doing to show that we're on the move. So this is the pavement on 146. So this just to show y'all all the stuff that we're doing. And this is my theme song, boo. I love this song. Cause ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. We're gonna keep moving down forward no matter what. And I want to give a special thanks to Trustee Holmes for always helping and making sure things go accordingly. He's the only trustee that's been helping me with every single project in the village of Dalton. And this right here, of course, the Just Ice Courts, and we got it donated, the blacktop that you see before.
Anyways,
I got the feds. I would encourage the mayor to put any evidence that she has and post it and circulate it. My background is free and clear for anybody to check. So I feel free to say it, and that will conclude my response to that. And I'll let the mayor go back to her tantrum.
Okay, but okay, 1 second. So, Jason, if you're gonna say something, then tell the people what the feds got you for them. Why was they at the healthcare custodian, which you worked at, and you was over the bank account, over right here at the U.S. Bank, and they walked you out, took your computer, seized your stuff. Talk to them then. You want to tell them? Talk to them. Tell the people. Talk to them. They right here.
This your fictional story.
No, it ain't fictional. Ain't nothing fictional about it. Tell them. You say transparency. Do you want to tell them about that?
Hey, y'all want to hear a good story? Keep talking to the mayor.
Right, exactly. He's not gonna tell his stuff, but I know his stuff. So that's that. Go ahead.
I just
Clerk.
have a point of clarity.
Go ahead, Clerk.
Point of clarity. When we were elected in office, myself and the mayor were authorized signers on the bank account. So I didn't just get on the account. I've been on the account since I became the clerk. What the problem is I refuse to sign off on checks that have not been approved by this board, because that is an oath that I took. That was an oath that I agreed to follow the Constitution. And if the ordinances are not being followed correctly, I am not going to move forward and sign a check that has not been approved, because that is what our ordinance state. So I just want to clear that up for the record. I'm not picking a sign aside. I'm doing my job.
Yeah. Well, I wish you would have done your job and made sure that Jason House didn't get on the bank account and try to remove me as mayor. And y'all should ask yourself, residents, how can people go into a bank and remove a mayor from a bank account when I had to jump through all types of loopholes when I actually became a signer on the bank account? So we also have financial as a listed lawsuit for them as well, for allowing them to be able to do this action, which they should not be able to do without even calling myself or anybody from my office to say that they're removing anybody or adding someone onto $1 million bank account. That's crazy. So all I try to do is put the stuff out there, and you guys kind of do with it what you want, but that wasn't right. And that gung-ho on getting control of the village's finances, that they're going to links. The recall didn't work. Now you want to try to remove me from the bank account. So their goal is to really tie my hands and not allow me to operate as a mayor, and so I can bow down to them and ask them things. So I thank God for elections. I keep telling y'all this, and I won't keep on stressing it, but it's election coming up on February 28th of next year. And remember, Ed Steves and Tammy is up. So you will have your time to do a real recall in the village of Dalton by going and casting your vote. So I always stress that, because I want you to know when is your opportunity to remove people that's not doing the will of the people. Unfortunately, you ain't gonna be able to get Trustee House or Trustee Belcher, because they're not up until 2025. But I want to just make you aware of the people and individuals that is up. Any more discussion, since no one wants to amend? Do anybody want to amend it? Let me ask. Anybody want to amend this motion? Go ahead, Trustee.
Yeah, I move to amend this motion. Cold air is cold. And if you ever been homeless sleeping on the outside, these seniors without their roofs and their windows, and it's not being approved to get their roofs and windows done, it's like sleeping on the outside. Think about your grandmother. Think about your little babies inside that house, and that cold air is whipping through there. It's like no roof and no windows. So I would like to amend this and we can move forward. And on the second note, we cannot keep letting a judge or anybody decide the fate of Dalton. There was an election. I ran, she won. There's no way we can keep looking at each other, brown and black people, and we can't get along. We should be able to get along and move forward. As long as there's no proof of anybody stealing any money, putting this money here, putting this money there, there's grant money, research it and see where the money is coming from. If it's grant money and the taxpayers are not paying for it, and the people are getting what they have to get to build this village up, we should not be stepping backwards, because we had past administration. I'm quite sure they approved paying people without a board there too. So just
I guess I could have made this video much shorter, but then you guys wouldn't have seen all these great moments. I know it has been a long one, I know, but bear with me. Let's have a look at a few more clips.
You the proof of things that people are saying, so you really truly understand and know the facts. But we're gonna move forward. Next on the agenda is the village clerk's report. Clerk Key.
Good evening, everyone. I did submit minutes for the month of July, but I do not see them listed here, so I cannot request approval because my minutes were not included on this agenda. So I don't know what happened, but minutes were submitted, but they're not listed on this agenda.
All right. Is that it? That's the end of your report?
I was just wondering where my minutes were.
Okay.
Because I did
Well, I
submit
think
them.
they told you where your minutes were. I
No
guess
one told me.
I announced it for the public. The Board of Trustees had 2 illegal meetings. The attorney next to me had told them their meetings was illegal, so they was not on this agenda because your minutes were illegal as it relates to your board meetings that you had.
So what about the minutes for the June, the first week of July?
So
That was a regular board meeting.
So the 2 minutes that I know of is the 2 board meetings or special board meetings that the trustees called.
There was a regular board meeting on July the 5th.
Okay.
And I do have minutes for those, but yet they're not on this agenda as well.
Okay. All right. Noted. Is that it for your report?
That concludes my report.
All right. Village administrator's report.
Can I speak
Yep, go
on
ahead.
this, on the budget? As the clerk, I have a budget. I did submit my recommended budget to the finance director, but I look at this budget that was put out today and none of my requests were even put in. No one asked me any questions or told me that they would not be included. So when you say submit your needs and your concerns, I run a clerk's office. There are needs for the clerk's office. I submitted them to the finance director, but yet they're not in this budget. And no one spoke to me about it.
Okay.
Can I speak to the trustee?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you all hear me? I did include your requests. We did have discussions and emails, and there was not an updated budget put out. The only budget that we did update was the last one that was ready for the finance committee meeting.
So are you telling me the budget I have today with the package?
I don't know which one you have.
I'm looking at what's in the package that was submitted. Okay, well, I'm just saying what was submitted with the board packet. I didn't see any of my changes
So
in it.
I can take a look, but I
Okay.
did include your changes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'll be recognized.
Go ahead.
I'm a 20-year resident. I know less information as a trustee, as an elected official, than I did as a resident. How the budget normally works, we even did it with the last administrator. How it works is the village administrator and the finance director are supposed to come to the departments, trustees, ask us, hello, is it anything that you all need in regards to your committee? Typically, like we did with Dorothy Brown last year, nothing has changed. It was just a year ago. She come to us, she asks us if we have anything that we'd like to add or change to the budget. They go from there, that you all take the budget, you all are supposed to distribute it to the public. We're supposed to have a public finance meeting where we discuss with the residents about the $26 million and what we are spending. This whole discussion is we're simply saying, hey, We're not approving. We're doing the same thing we did last year. Last year, we told you then, we're not approving a $26 million budget without going over it with the residents. We did have a finance committee meeting, which when we talk about time, I'm not even on the finance committee, and I came to give some of my time because I am concerned. And we did have the administrator and your finance director say that they only had an hour that they can give us. Trustee Belcher said to them at the moment that was disheartening because they're getting paid $100,000 a year and they should be available. I stood up there as a resident and I stated that we have to, of course, come together and figure it out. And the rest of the trustees were in agreement with us going over with the residents. That's it. We just want the residents to know how we're spending their money. It's not about us. It's about the residents. When they have questions, it should be available to the residents so they can have access so that they can already be prepared. They should have access to it. So on Wednesday, when we have our finance meetings, they can have their questions. I also explained to the administrator then at the time when he discussed the budget that there weren't any itemized, the budget that we received wasn't itemized. You all stated to us that you all sent it to us that day and that it was itemized. So we're going to go over it with the residents on Wednesday. But that's it. We just simply want to go over with the residents prior to approving the budget. Nothing major, but when I was as a resident, I appreciated the village going over the budget with me because it's ultimately the taxpayers' money. So that was my time to ask questions, give them information. That's it. On Wednesday, after we go over the budget with the people, then we can move forward. We're not saying we're not going to approve the budget. We're just saying we want to go over it with the residents. That's it.
Okay. There we have it, my wonderful, beautiful people. Now, there's still one more part I would like to add to this little saga. I am aware that many of you already know what happened with the deputy clerk. Arise Montgomery and Tiffany had a little blowout during a meeting. I would really like to cover this for the sake of having a complete story. So until next time, please be good, you guys. Do good things and be kind to each other. Sending love to all of you. Judge Petty signing off.